boy, me doing this video has a reasonably high chance that it's gonna blow up right in my face. PayPal, if you're listening, I just want you to know that this is coming from a place of love, pal. I really do want to see you improve. You're so convenient, everyone uses you, but your behavior has left a lot to be desired. Please don't ban me for honest criticism, okay? Also, if they do, please consider supporting me on Subscribestar, which processes payouts without using PayPal. The cut they take is less than YouTube, Twitch, or Patreon as well. $5 a month on any of those platforms get you into the D Club, my exclusive supporter-only Discord, but really, Subscribestar is the best bet. PayPal's reputation is as one of those ubiquitous internet services that was born out of the boom of the late 90s and early 2000s. And as it is so often the case with internet companies, early adopters become today's monopolies. That's not a hard and fast rule, of course. Reddit replaced Dig, Google replaced Yahoo, Facebook replaced MySpace. But for the most part, internet users don't actually have any loyalty towards a platform. They go where people already are, because overwhelmingly the product offered on the internet is the attention of others. This is why, without some massive disruption, BitChute, Rumble, or Odyssey will never dethrone YouTube or Twitch. Gab, Parler, or Getter will never dethrone Twitter. Subscribestar will never dethrone Patreon, even though I'd like it to. And, you know, are there even any PayPal alternatives? Well, if there are, they probably won't dethrone PayPal. These alternative sites don't add anything new to the user experience. They're literally the same service with less people on it. And when it comes to ease of use, really, nothing beats PayPal. Those two qualities form a feedback loop. Ease of use leads to more people using PayPal. More people using PayPal contributes to ease of use. Of course, monopolies tend to become corrupted over time, without any competition pressure to keep them on their toes, and PayPal is no different. PayPal has a history of playing fast and loose with liberal ideas, like freedom of expression or privacy rights. Now I want to make it clear that as a private entity, PayPal has their own freedom of expression and privacy rights, and forcing them to platform your speech that they don't agree with is a violation of their rights too. We can critique PayPal for deplatforming people on political grounds. We can even stop using their service for it, but they are within their rights to do it. Nonetheless, let's see what they've done. PayPal's first real controversy of this nature was back in 2011, when PayPal, Amazon, Visa, and MasterCard all at the same time dropped WikiLeaks in response to their December 2010 diplomatic cables dump. PayPal was actually DDoSed by Anonymous at the time, and 13 of the infamous PayPal 14 Anonymous members ended up pleading guilty to charges of damaging a protected computer and felony conspiracy in a California court on December of 2013. In 2018, PayPal canceled accounts associated with Gavin McInnes, the Proud Boys movement, and several Antifa groups, showing that they were going after radicals on both sides and not simply being partisans. A PayPal statement on the bannings said, striking the necessary balance between upholding free expression and open dialogue and protecting principles of tolerance, diversity, and respect for all people is a challenge that many companies are grappling with today. We work hard to achieve the right balance and to ensure our decisions are values-driven and not political. We carefully review accounts and take action as appropriate. We do not allow PayPal services to be used to promote hate, violence, or other forms of intolerance that are discriminatory. In 2019, though, things were shifting. PayPal banned InfoWars and Gab, who, unlike the Proud Boys, aren't the inverted, right-wing street thug equivalent of Antifa. Alex Jones and Andrew Torba are inflammatory, but not violent. PayPal claimed that InfoWars promoted hatred and intolerance, while Gab was banned because the Pittsburgh synagogue shooter had made anti-Semitic posts on the service. That sounds suspicious to me, because the Christchurch shooting was streamed on Facebook, and yet that platform still has access to PayPal. Reddit, Twitter, all of mainstream tech has at some point hosted a video of a shooting or a manifesto or hateful messages, and yet PayPal still serves them, making the Gab claim ring hollow. After that, it seemed like the floodgates had opened. Laura Loomer, Tommy Robinson, and Roosh V all got axed from PayPal. All three of them are inflammatory but not violent. Robert Spencer, Pamela Geller, and the Daily Septic were all banned, but thankfully won on appeal. Subscribestar and BitChute were both removed from the service, with BitChute supporters receiving an email from PayPal implying that BitChute had canceled their use of the service, when it was in fact a PayPal ban. Many other smaller groups and individuals have been unceremoniously thrown off the service to no fanfare because nobody knows about it. It even got to the point where PayPal banned porn from their service in 2020, with multiple small artists and creators losing their accounts and sometimes even their account balances. Even Pornhub stopped taking PayPal too, now only accepting payment in crypto. In fact, that whole losing their account balances thing, that was the subject of a recent controversy. PayPal's new acceptable use policy went viral last November, where it was noticed by people that they claimed the right to withdraw $2,500 from your account if you violate the acceptable use policy. Here's what wasn't talked about regarding that story though. This policy has actually been in place for a while, long before it went viral. Here is the text of the PayPal acceptable use policy. You may not use the PayPal service for activities that 1. Violate any law, statute, ordinance, or regulation. This is already troubling to me because other jurisdictions have wacky laws that I shouldn't be subject to. I don't live there. 2. Relating to transactions involving narcotics, steroids, drugs, cigarettes, promoting illegal activity, stolen goods. This is all pretty normal stuff until we get to items that are considered obscene and certain sexually oriented materials or services, which are both way too vague. But basically this is PayPal covering its ass. 3. Relating to transactions that show the personal information of third parties, aka doxing, supporting pyramid schemes or Ponzi schemes, association with offshore banking, for the sale of items that you don't own but expect to own in the future, insurance stuff. This is all just, you can't do shady stuff on PayPal. Okay, got it. 4. Involving the sale of products or services identified by government agencies that have a high likelihood of being fraudulent. 5. Relating to transactions involving any activity that requires pre-approval without having obtained the approval. If you violate any of these rules, you're subject to PayPal's restricted activities penalties, where they say that they can kick you off PayPal, they can keep you banned off PayPal indefinitely, they can restrict your access to their websites and networks, they can hold your PayPal balance for 180 days while they determine if your account has any debts that need to be paid. They can contact people you have bought and sold from. They can take legal action against you if applicable. And, important to this conversation, they can withdraw damages from your account. The policy says if your violation is associated with fraud or the sale of goods that are counterfeit, then you're on the hook for PayPal's damages. You agree by using the PayPal service that considering PayPal needs to pay for internal administrative costs to monitor and track violations, pay for damages to the brand and reputation of PayPal, and pay costs imposed upon it by PayPal's business partners as a result of your fraud, that you need to pay for all of these costs. And that $2,500 US, it's also 2,500 Canadian dollars, which is odd considering the exchange rate. I guess if you're going to break the law, do it in Canada. But the idea is that $2,500 US is the average cost of all of these impositions. Your penalty may be less or more than $2,500 depending on the severity of the violation, and that PayPal can directly withdraw the penalty from your account. None of this is new. What is new, and what made this whole thing go viral in the first place, was when, on November 3rd, 2022, back on that 5-point list, they moved point 5 to point 6, and inserted a new point 5, which read, involving the sending, posting, or publication of any messages, content, or materials that, in PayPal's sole discretion, A. are harmful, obscene, harassing, or objectionable, B. depict or appear to depict nudity, sexual, or other intimate activities, C. depict or promote illegal drug use, D. depict or promote violence, criminal activity, cruelty, or self-harm, E. depict, promote, or incite hatred or discrimination of protected groups or of individuals or groups based on protected characteristics. Example, race, religion, gender or gender identity, sexual orientation, etc. F. present a risk to user safety or well-being. G. are fraudulent, promote misinformation, or are unlawful. H. infringe the privacy, intellectual property rights, or other proprietary rights of any party. Or I. are otherwise unfit for publication. This new policy is significantly more vague and restricting than even the vaguest parts of the old policy, and this is what made everyone freak out. PayPal was going to charge you $2,500 for misinformation, and they were the ones who got to decide what misinformation was. That's not the only objectionable thing, though, considering how puritanical that whole section was, but it's the misinformation part that went viral. After the backlash, PayPal pulled the new policy and reverted to what they had in place before. In fact, there's even reports that PayPal was offering people $15 to not close their accounts after people began to leave PayPal, which is, not gonna lie, pretty funny. Here's the issue though. After the story died down and the news cycle moved on, right-leaning accounts on Twitter began to claim that PayPal had quietly snuck back in the $2,500 penalty now that the outrage had passed. And people began to react with, I knew it! They were always going to do this! They were just going to wait until we weren't looking anymore. But that's actually not the case. If you go to PayPal's acceptable use policy right now, you'll notice that the new Section 5 is, in fact, not there. The page is exactly as it was pre-November 3rd, with no section on misinformation. And the page showing the punishments for violating this acceptable use policy is also exactly as it was pre-November 3rd, with the possibility of a $2,500 fine still there, as it had been for years. It turns out, PayPal retaining the right to reach into your account and take $2,500 if you violate the acceptable use policy has been there since 2015. PayPal did not sneak the $2,500 clause back in after people stopped paying attention. It's been there all along. They just didn't implement the new, more restrictive Section 5 rules. And those rules are still gone, even though people have stopped paying attention. Meaning, no, you're not going to get charged $2,500 for misinformation, where misinformation is defined by PayPal at their sole discretion. The question remains, though, why is all of this happening? What the hell has changed since the Elon Musk days of PayPal? The current CEO of PayPal, Dan Schulman, gave an interview with the Wall Street Journal in 2019, talking about why some people get banned and others don't. He cited Charlottesville as a defining moment for him, where he knew that PayPal had to change. He said the line between free speech and hate isn't taught in college, and it's not defined in the law, and he believes that businesses need to be a force for good in the values they believe in. As for what values are the most core to PayPal, Schulman said diversity and inclusion, of course, and that he chose to make a visible stand and cancel expansion plans in North Carolina after that state passed a bill making it mandatory for people to use the bathroom of their biological sex. He also made it clear that the Southern Poverty Law Center helps inform PayPal's decisions on these matters, and in 2021 further partnered with the Anti-Defamation League to help identify extremist content flowing through PayPal. It seems to be the attitude of Dan Schulman specifically that's driving a lot of this stuff. When PayPal split off from eBay and became its own company in 2015, Schulman was brought on to take the reins. PayPal's initial goal was to facilitate easy payments online in the face of a then new internet marketplace. That's it. But Schulman, after taking power, said publicly that ship has sailed. That era of PayPal is over. I think stepping into the role when I did was certainly a historic moment for PayPal. I thought when we became an independent company, it would give us a chance to reimagine the company moving forward. The new mission of PayPal became democratizing access to money. On the face of it, that just sounds like more people having access to online finance. But the word democratizing is used specifically here to appeal to a majority rule. A fully democratized money system means that other people get to vote on how you spend your money, because a democratized system is not a private one. Schulman refers to all of this as financial inclusion, a topic I went over extensively in my video a few years back on MasterCard. It's all about getting more people into the system, and fair enough because that added accessibility is pretty good. But the trade-off is that unlike with cash, your money is now controlled by the service that you're using, and PayPal isn't shy about wielding that power in a partisan way. Like I said before, PayPal is a private entity, and Schulman is a private individual. They have the right to be partisan leftoids and partner with partisan leftoid activist groups if they want. But because PayPal holds an effective monopoly right now, there is a very strong moral argument that either PayPal needs to be made to serve everyone equally, regardless of political slant, excepting, of course, for money that's actually directly being used to fund violent action, and then let the political chips fall where they may, or there needs to be an actual market competitor to PayPal. And considering how, back when Sargon was banned from Patreon and moved over to Subscribestar, everyone pulled out of Subscribestar in response, including PayPal, they clearly have no intention of letting an actual competitor organically grow. This is one of those times where government regulation of PayPal is required to maintain a level playing field, because PayPal seems to be too partisan right now to serve people equally of its own volition.